The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum presents Pointers from the Pros. This video is made possible by a generous gift from all-natural Oberto Beef Jerky. You get out what you put in.
So my changeup grip was really just a variation on my fastball grip. So my fastball 90% of the time was a two-seam fastball that in between the two seams and grip it with my index finger and my middle finger. My changeup grip was essentially, I just slid the ball over on my middle finger and my ring finger and tried to throw a fastball. The only variation, I guess, was I found over time that if I, when you throw your fastball, you like to have your thumb underneath it as your guide. So when I threw my changeup, my thumb was still underneath the ball, but I found that if I got my index finger on top of my thumb and kind of got it off the ball, it had less influence on it. So when I tried to throw it hard like this with my index finger and my middle finger, or my middle finger and my ring finger, it just didn't come out. There was no velocity to it. So then it was just a matter of trying to get the command on it, and eventually I got it, and it certainly became a good pitch for me. So a little bit different than the traditional circle changeup, but it worked for me. So like I said, my fastball, I had two fastballs, my two-seam fastball, which I threw most of the time. Didn't throw it as hard, but it had more movement, had some sink to it. Was kind of my ground ball pitch. My four-seam fastball that I threw a little bit harder. Sometimes I would throw this, maybe early in the count for strike one. If you knew a guy was taking a pitch or had a good feeling he was taking a pitch, it's a little bit straighter, a little bit easier to command than the sinker, two-seamer. And I would throw it in on right-handers. Like I said, with the four seams, it has less movement on it. So I felt like if I threw this pitch inside to a righty, it wasn't going to move and leak back over the plate. So if I got it on my line where I wanted to, there was a good chance it was going to stay there and not leak back over the plate. So really two pitches built into one really, just by changing the grip a little bit. My slider was, again, if you take my four-seam fastball grip, slide the ball a little bit so that you're more on the inside of that top horseshoe. And then instead of when you throw a fastball trying to create backspin, when you're throwing that slider, you're just trying to create a little side spin. The slider can break anywhere from 2 or 3 inches to 4 or 5 inches. Just a little bit harder pitch than a curveball. A curveball, similar, very same grip actually, but again with the slider, it's more you're throwing it like a fastball and then kind of trying to get that sideways rotation on the pitch to make it into a slider. With the curveball, it's more of that turn, and you're trying to get that downward spin to make the ball break more north and south than east and west.